Now, if you've ever watched your phone ring and you just feel your body tense, it's not because of who's calling, but because it was a call at all. First off, let me tell you, you're not strange, you're not rude, and you're definitely not alone. Because for many people, a ringing phone isn't just communication, it's a demand on your nervous system. And today, we're going to explore why. Welcome back to Your Mind's Mirror, your YouTube psychology channel. Now, in a world filled with instant messaging, voice notes, and video calls, millions of people actively avoid traditional phone calls. Honestly, I'm one of them. Not because they dislike connection, not because they're antisocial, and not because they don't care about others, but because phone calls activate parts of the brain that texting just simply doesn't. And once you understand how your brain interprets calls, your reaction to them suddenly makes a lot more sense. Reason number 1, phone calls remove your control over time and space. A phone call demands your attention immediately, not when you're ready, not when you've taken a few deep breaths, not when you've finished what you're doing, not when your thoughts are settled, but right freaking now. And for many people, especially those who are reflective, emotionally sensitive, or easily overstimulated, that's where I fall in, this sudden interruption feels super invasive, even if the person calling is someone you love. Texting allows you to regulate when you respond, decide how much energy you give, and you get to choose the pace of the interaction. A phone call absolutely removes that big old buffer. Your brain doesn't interpret this as danger, but it does register it as pressure. And pressure, even small, activates stress responses. So the discomfort isn't about the person calling. It's about the loss of control over your own mental space. Reason number 2, phone calls heighten social performance anxiety. On a call, everything is immediate. Your tone, your pauses, your confidence, your uncertainty. There's no editing. There's no rewriting. There's no taking a moment to sit and think, is this weird? There's no space to rephrase before the words leave your mouth. And for people who tend to overthink, are very self-aware, or care deeply about being understood, this can quietly feel like being put on a stage naked. Even casual conversations can activate questions like, did I sound awkward? Why did I pause there? Did that come out wrong? Ugh, they're gonna think I'm so weird. Now, texting removes this pressure. It gives your brain time to organize your thoughts, to choose words carefully, and to express yourself with more precision. And when the brain learns that one form of communication feels safer or feels more safer than another, it naturally gravitates towards it. Reason number 3, phone calls interrupt your inner world. Now, some people are deeply comfortable in their own minds. They think in layers, they process slowly, and they enjoy mental quiet. For them, a phone call isn't just communication. It's an interruption of internal rhythm. A sudden demand for full emotional presence can feel jarring when you're immersed in thought, in creativity, or calm. But your brain isn't avoiding people. It's protecting psychological continuity. Texting allows you to remain partially in your internal world while still being connected to someone else's. Now, for many minds, that balance feels safer, softer, and more sustainable. Reason number 4, emotional intensity feels heavier through voice. Now, Voice carries emotion in ways that text just does not. You can hear disappointment. You can hear frustration, excitement, hesitation, or silence. And once emotion is heard, it cannot be unheard. For people who are highly empathetic or emotionally absorbent, phone calls can feel heavy even when the conversation itself is really neutral and non problematic. The nervous system begins associating call with emotional weight and text with emotional distance. And while emotional distance isn't always healthy, sometimes it's necessary for regulation. Your brain may prefer texting simply because it allows emotional boundaries. Reason number 5: childhood and early experiences shape how we feel about voice. Our relationship with phone calls often forms early, a lot earlier than you would expect. If you grew up in an environment where conversations were tense, voices were raised, or communication felt really unpredictable, your nervous system may still associate voice-based communication with stress, even if your current relationships now are safe. This isn't conscious memory, it's body memory. Your brain learned early. Voice equals heightened emotional risk. So as an adult, texting feels calmer, not because you're avoiding people, but because your nervous system learned how to protect you. The body really is amazing like that. Reason number 6: dopamine and predictability. Now, texting offers small, predictable dopamine rewards. A message arrives, you respond, the exchange feels controlled and contained. One more thing off of your to-do list. Now, phone calls, on the other hand, are unpredictable. You don't know how long they're going to last. You don't know where the conversation is going to lead. You don't know what emotional tone it will take. The brain prefers predictability. It feels safer, lighter, and easier to manage. So if your brain leans towards texting, it may simply be seeking emotional efficiency. Reason number 7: attachment styles really play a role. People with more avoidant or anxious attachment styles often struggle with phone calls. For avoidant types, calls feel emotionally demanding. For anxious types, calls feel emotionally risky. Texting allows both to regulate closeness and distance, but at a more comfortable pace and level. It creates a buffer between emotion and expression. Again, it's not wrong, it's just different wiring. So let me say this, and I really want you to hear me. If you hate phone calls, it doesn't mean you're antisocial. It doesn't mean you're emotionally unavailable. And it doesn't mean that you don't value the relationships that you have in your life. It means that your brain values emotional preparation. It values control over timing. It values predictability. And it values psychological safety. That is not a weakness, my dear. That's self-awareness. So the next time your phone rings and your instinct is to let it go to voicemail, instead of judging yourself, just ask, what does my nervous system need right now to feel safe and settled? Because communication isn't just about talking. It's about feeling regulated while doing it. And if you enjoy exploring the quiet psychology behind everyday behaviors, welcome to your mind's mirror. I'll see you in the next reflection. Bye, friends.